Good Tvach, everybody. Motzei Shabbos, Parshas Bechukosai, the last parsha of Sefer Vayikra, Chazak, Chazak, V'Nischazek. I have a few thoughts I want to share with you about this past Shabbos' parsha, and better late than never. So, this parsha begins with In Bechukosai Telechu, Ve'es Mitzvosai Tishmeru. If you go in the ways of my statutes, my laws, and you do my mitzvos, and the psukim continue to list abundance of brachos that will come our way when we follow in Hashem's ways by learning Torah and doing mitzvos. An abundance of brachos, including peace in the land. Our enemies won't enter our land. We'll have victory over our enemies. So much abundance of brachos that we're seeking and we want and we need. And I think in the simplest way, we look to the first few psukim of this week's parsha, and it's very simple. If we want peace in our land, if we want true peace, lasting peace, if we want to be victorious in our war against our enemies, if we don't want, God forbid, any harm in the midst of our land, we look at this week's parsha and it's just so simple. What we need to do, what we need to focus on is increasing in our own observance, in our own Torah and mitzvos, because we see there's that correlation is right there. In Bechukosai Telechu, Ve'es Mitzvosai Tishmeru, we will have this abundance of brachos. However, there is a catch. The Gemara says, Ein im ela lashon tachanunim. The word im here, and the Gemara says, on these words, im bechukosai telechu, if you follow my statutes, my laws, my ways. And the Gemara says the word if here, the word im, if, is not conditional. Rather, ein im ela lashon tachanunim. Tachanunim is pleading, begging, asking. So the im here is not Hashem saying, well, if you do this, then I'll do that. But rather, it's Hashem begging us, please follow my ways. It'll be good for you. It'll be good. It'll be good for you. Please follow my ways. And the first thing we have to take note here is that by Hashem begging us and asking us to follow in his ways, he's actually giving us what we call a netinas koach, netinat koach, if you will. He gives us the koach, the ability, the power to actually fulfill it. It's like if somebody asks you, from the bottom of their heart, please, will you do this for me? Their very asking gives you that koach, that ability, that initiative, that motive to get it done. So when Hashem is coming to us and say, please keep my Torah, follow my mitzvos, that itself gives us the power to overcome anything that will get in our way in fulfilling Hashem's Torah and mitzvos. And that applies to every Yid, because the Torah belongs to every Jew, right? So no matter who you are, Hashem is giving us that power and that ability to overcome anything, to follow in all his ways, all 613 mitzvos, by asking us, by begging us, by inviting us to do that. There's another idea here, though, which is usually, again, you read this as, well, if this, then that. Like a schar va'onesh, right? Schar, reward. If you follow in my ways, I will reward you. But you know how in parenting we talk a lot about natural consequences? That not everything is a punishment or a reward, a sticker system, and I am giving you something that's really uncorrelated to what you're doing, but rather there's a lot of natural consequences that happen in the world according to our actions. So if we do good, we have good outcomes. And here, the idea of in Bechukosai Telechu and the abundance of brachos that come after that is not as much about schar ve'onesh as much as it is, this is the way the world works. This is the way the world works. What does that mean? We know that the Torah is a blueprint for creation. So if you get a piece of machinery, and you want to know how to use it, what do? You look at the instruction manual. And who wrote the instruction manual? The ones who created the machine, because they know how it works. So we're in this world, and we're like, okay, what do we do with this world? How do we make it flow? How do we make it work? How do we have good in the world, and things should go well? And how do we live in this world in a proper, good way? Well, we might as well look at the instruction manual given to us by the creator of it, and that's the Torah. So if we want to know how to work the world well, we need to follow God's ways. And that's exactly what it's saying, right? In Bechukosai Telechu, if we follow in Hashem's ways, we listen to the instruction manual, we follow it, then of course, the natural outcome will be an abundance of good, because we're just working the machine the way it's meant to be worked. So it'll work. And I was thinking, what's the connection between these two ideas? The Gemara that says im is pleading, and understanding this as a natural outcome. I think Hashem is saying to us, please, read the instructions. Like, when you buy something and it says in red, like, read the manual first. Don't try using it with your eyes closed. Don't try using it without following the directions. Hashem is saying, please, I know it's good for you. Like different part in the Torah when it says, Uvacharta b'chayim, you should choose life. Torah is life. It's here for us to choose. It's here for us to follow. It's here for us to follow in Hashem's ways. And of course, He gave us Bechira, so He needs to ask us, please just follow the manual. Work the world as it's meant to be worked by doing Torah and mitzvos, and for the non-Jewish world by keeping the 7 Noahide laws. The world will work. It'll work so well. There'll be an abundance of brachos. There'll be peace in the land. Everything will be good when we follow Hashem's ways. And even not when, because as we said before, it's not conditional. Hashem wants to bless us, and He will bless us. But of course, we need to do our part as well. All right. Chazak v'nischazek.